Hello, hello everyone. I am here with the awesome Regina, a amazing burnout coach. She's one of my video skills lab students, and we have got an incredible live interview for you this morning. It's Friday afternoon here for me in Austin, Texas, but Regina is in Australia and it's bright and early for her. What time is it for you?
6 a.m.
All right, she has gotten up at 6 a.m. on her Saturday to come and spend her time with all of us. So show some love for Regina. Let us know. Give us a hashtag live if you're watching live or a hashtag replay if you're watching replay. Thank you so much for being here, Regina.
My
And
pleasure.
yeah, we're going to just dish all about the strategies Regina's using, everything that she is doing to just create incredible videos and to create an incredible community. And the cat's going to make a live appearance too. So he or she's going to be really involved in the process as well, which is great. That's the fun of live. So we're going to talk all about how she's building these amazing conversations through her videos and through her community. So Regina, first off, why don't you introduce yourself to everyone?
Yes, so my name's Regina Bockett and I'm a burnout coach. I help high achieving working professionals who want to create more time without sacrificing their sleep and quality time with family and friends. So basically, without burning out, finding time to do all the things that bring them joy. So I suffered burnout twice in the space of 3 years in my previous career. And so I made the commitment to doing the mind, body, and soul work to overcome that. And now I share exactly what that pathway was with my clients.
Yes, I love it. I love it. And she has some amazing videos. She has an amazing Facebook group and community that we'll talk about that you guys can definitely join after and check out all the amazing things that she is doing. But first, I just also want to just brag about Regina for a second. Literally before this video, I was so impressed with her. I was talking about all the things that I was seeing from her online that I was excited about. But I don't know if Regina, you want to brag about some of the stuff that you've done, or I can brag about you. But why don't you go first, and then I will definitely brag even more.
Okay. Well, yeah, I think the thing that I'm most proud of when it comes to content is when I first started talking about burnout and sharing, my message, I guess, I decided to do it through video. And it's, at the start, it was quite a big commitment. I was kind of doing full scripts and just kind of doing it on my own, on a whim, on a wing. And it was becoming quite a lot of work, but I knew that I wanted to keep showing up and giving value to my audience. And then that's when I met Alex, and she taught her kind of formula for how to show up every week with a high value video. So I'm really proud, I guess, that I have been able to stick to that commitment every week and give a live video to my audience. And I've done that through, listening to what you teach, learning through the membership, attending your trainings. And I kind of just, made that commitment to implement everything you teach and practice. And now it's at the point where planning my lives and doing them is not the work that it felt like at the start. So I'm so glad I put that commitment in, because now I've kind of got that ease and flow. And I can keep showing up for my audience. So I guess that's what I'm most proud of.
Yeah, I absolutely love that. So show some love for her, because honestly, showing up every single week when she has a full-time job and you've got a life and a family, and showing up every week is a hard thing to do. So I love that you've just taken all the teachings. So many people have the information, but not everyone goes and implements it. So I love that you said that. And I want to brag a little bit about you too. And I want to share what we were talking about before. Because this week, when I'm in Regina's Burnout Facebook group, and we actually met when it was, I think you were just starting it or had 5 or 6 members in it or something like that, I believe. It really, I think it was something like that, right?
I met you before I started. So your teachings was what prompted me to start.
Oh.
So I met you before I even had one.
Okay. You know what I'm thinking is we did a one-to-one call.
We did a one-to-one call, yeah.
And I think your group, like you'd started it and your group was 5 or 6
like 5 or
members.
6, yeah.
Yeah. And I think now you're like over 100 members. But what the best part of it is this week, I was thinking about you this week, and I don't know if it was like I was thinking about you and now the algorithms in my brain, but like I was scrolling through social media and like literally every day I'm seeing posts from people who are posting in her group and commenting on videos and commenting on posts. And I just feel like that what Regina's done is such a powerful example of, it's not all about how many people you have. Like you could have 100 people in a Facebook group and crickets, or you could have 100 people that feel like an engaged community that are learning from each other and growing from each other. And so many people are just obsessed with the vanity metrics. But I think you've just done such a good job, like with your content and the way you're moderating, that you've taken 100 people and are like now making the most of that. So I think that's just like a huge testament to what you're doing too.
Thank you.
Yeah. Well, all right, let's jump into the good stuff that all of you are excited about. And just so you all know too, the strategies we're about to talk about and all the things Regina's learned, all these strategies are in the Video Skills Lab membership. And until tomorrow, I'm doing a 30 days free promo. We get the next 30 days totally free. So if you use the link in the description, you can sign up. We'll talk a little bit about that later. But first, let's talk about, I know you said before it was kind of a laborious process to like plan content and script it out. Like, what does your content planning look like every month now? What does your scripting look like now? Let's talk about what it was before and now. So let's do both, before and now.
Well, before it was like when I first started, I did it week by week, and I would spend the whole week, because like you said, I do have a full-time job. So in my spare time all week leading up to the weekend when I would film a pre-recorded video, I would be madly typing pages and pages of script. So it would take me all week to script it. And then the weekend I'd shoot it and I would do like the whole thing. I would do like hair, makeup, lights, it would just become this whole thing. And it was getting to the point where I was running out of ideas as well, and I didn't know how to find ideas. So the first 15, 20, so I could kind of conjure something up. And I started to batch them as well. So then I'd do just like 3 or 4 in a weekend to try and get my time back. But it was like this kind of dread, like, oh, I have to do a video and I have to plan a video. Like that's what it was turning into. And that's when I found you and I was like, oh, great, someone can help me. So now, now my content planning looks like, since doing one of your workshops is at the end of like the 5-week cycle of the Power 5 live videos, which turns out to be about once a month, I just sit down and fill in a content planning template where I kind of pick a theme for the month. So whether it's, immunity and winter illnesses, or whether it's how to make a decision, or whether it's how to create a new habit. And then I just fill in the Power 5 videos. I just sit down and do all that. And like you taught in your workshop, I try and kind of smash out those 5 topics in half an hour or so. So then when it comes to scripting, because I've done I've practiced scripting, or like you say, making a flow of your video. Now I'm at the point where I can quickly, set myself a 15-minute timer. And even if it takes me half an hour, I'll fill in the script template. So I just spend like half an hour on the weekend filling my script for the following week. And then once every 5 weeks, I do my topics. So when I go to do my script, I know exactly what my topic is that week.
I love it. And I just want to highlight one thing, because there was so much good stuff you said in there. And what I love is that you're like, all right, I'm taking 4 or 5 weeks and I'm just picking a theme around it. And you're almost doing like a video series every 4 to 5 weeks. And like a lot of people, it's not bad to do one-off topics, but like when you have that video series, like there's that sense of continuity. Or like people who watch part 1 want to go back for part 2 and then part 3 and part 4. And there's like this really amazing flow that ends up happening. There's nothing wrong with like one-off videos at all. But I feel like that's worked really well in terms of like finding ideas and being able to go really deep instead of just picking a ton of topics and going kind of superficial with all of them. Would you agree with that?
Yes, and on the flip side, instead of feeling like, oh my gosh, I have so much to talk about immunity, I need to do a half an hour video where I just talk at people, I can literally break it up into 4 or 5 and make that topic last me a month, as opposed to going, oh, well, I can only talk about immunity this week, and then next week I've got to pick something else. So as well as not doing one thing superficially, it's also not having to deep dive and go on and on about the same thing.
Right.
In one video, you can keep it short and sharp and make that last. Yeah.
That is like gold, because like one of the biggest struggles, and we talk about this all the time in the Skills Lab, is that a big trap that we fall into when we create videos is like we tend to overstuff. And like usually it's from this place of value where we're like, I really want to give a lot of value, but then you end up giving so much that the person who's listening in is like, I'm so overwhelmed. I could never do this. How am I going to make this work? And now you've like broken it down into such small, I like to call them like snackable videos, which is sort of like what I feel like you're doing with these series.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love it. And the other thing I want to pick up on too is like you've got things down really simply. You're like, I just sit down and I plan out my 4 to 5 videos each month. I take 15 to 30 minutes to script it out, you know, every single Saturday. It's simple, right? Where like I feel like a lot of people spend hours and hours and hours and they overthink and they do what you did where their hair and makeup ready and everything looks perfect and it takes hours and hours and you record and re-record. And like, how do you move away from that perfectionism? Like, how did you move away from that perfectionism and be able to just be okay showing up the way you're showing up now? Because I remember seeing some of your videos and they look so perfect, and now you're so real in a lot of them now. It's very different, but in a good way, I think.
It's funny. My partner is actually a filmmaker, and he definitely has the perfectionist tendency. So when I started, I asked him for help, obviously, because when you're starting, you ask family and friends for help, and he was like, "Yep, I'll help you." And so we went down that route of lights and camera, and I think innately, in a way, I'm kind of blessed in that I don't have that perfectionist gene. I know some people do have it, whereas I kind of am very much like, let's just get it done. Like I like to just get things done. But I'm not saying I could have done it on my own because, it's scary showing up online and talking about something vulnerable, because a lot of what my teachings are, as I said, I went through burnout and I've mapped out the roadmap that's got me, to the life that I wanted. So, I'm talking about myself. I'm talking about like people in my circle didn't know I burnt out, and, it was quite vulnerable at the start. So I don't think I could have made that shift without, a lot of what you teach, which is busting those myths of you don't have to be perfect to achieve what you're trying to achieve. So you tell the story of how you sat on your couch with a cracked iPhone in your pajamas and sold a high ticket client, and you embody just being real and showing up. And you did a lot of trainings on busting those myths of, how you look doesn't change your message. And I guess, I kind of got faced with, I had made a commitment from the start. I want to give value and share content and give a video to my audience every single week. And I was getting to the point where I was starting to dread it. And I was like, something's got to change. Otherwise I'm going to quit and I'm going to stop this commitment. And that's something that I didn't want to do. So I think it was a combination of you kind of giving me that confidence and modeling and showing you just, showing up is the most important thing. And your people will love you for who you are, no matter what you look like, no matter what your background is. And, the more I go online and, the people I connect with I don't care if they don't have a professional camera and lights and backdrop. I don't care if they're sitting in their bedroom with their kids running in and out, because I'm connecting with the person. And so you really taught that and modeled that and gave me that confidence to just say, you know what, if it's a question of are you going to spend half an hour doing your makeup, or are you going to just get on camera?
Totally.
It's about the message, and that's more important. And it's more important to me that I am sharing with people. So yeah, it was a combination of those things.
Yeah, I just love so much of what you said. Like, I want to highlight a few things because that was amazing and so well said. And like, that's exactly what I was going to say. And just from someone who's like gotten to watch, you know, a lot of your journey now through this process, like I love that you said, you know, when you're focusing on, you know, how you're helping people, like that makes a lot of the insecurities like start to go away. And Regina, you showed up for so many coaching calls and like posting questions and watching all the assignments. And like in our coaching calls, like I would really challenge you, because I was like, I know you're doing the work, and like I'm going to push you and like ask you the hard questions about your messaging and ask you why you believe the things that you do. And like we had some of those conversations where I really pushed you in those like group coaching calls in the skills lab. And I feel like your videos have gotten better and better, and you've gotten more confident as your message has gotten more clear. So like as you've gained confidence in that messaging, in that content, and like you were always clear, but like it gets better as you do more videos and as you have other people push you on like, okay, but what do you really mean by this? And how could you explain this even better? And yeah, I just feel like that confidence went up when the clarity on your messaging went up, and some of the perfectionism like started to go away too.
Yeah, definitely. Because you just focus on what's important. Yeah, so that was really good.
Yeah. And it's like having that confidence where you're like, I know my message is so freaking good that like, who cares if my hair doesn't look perfect? Who cares if this thing isn't 100%? Like, it just doesn't matter because you're so confident in, you know, the transformation you're going to be giving, you know, that person on the other end.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Love it. All right. So show some love for Regina so far. Let us know if you have questions specifically on anything we've talked about, or questions on her video strategy. And I want to talk a little bit too on like what you have been doing to increase your engagement and like start conversations on your videos. Like what does that look like for you?
Well, I've slowly kind of implemented the things that you teach kind of one by one, because I was like moving away from, like I said, like pages of scripts of just information. So definitely just that simple strategy of giving people opportunities in the video to comment. So in the flow, like when you're planning the script, like making sure you're asking people to drop hashtag live, hashtag replay, asking that engaging question, you know, on a scale of 1 to 10, are you this, are you that, or, you know, true or false. And I've started to do that even more, and especially like through watching what you do, and even like being part of some of your other students' groups, seeing how they do it. It's like when you say that question, take a pause, take a drink, because if you think about the person on the other side, they're watching and they're like, should I answer? And you're like, yeah, like give them that time to answer rather than just rush through and say, hashtag live, hashtag replay, question. And they're like, oh, I'm not going to reply because she's on to the next thing already. So I've been working on those questions. And then because I've kind of relaxed more into the live, even as I'm talking, I'm like, oh, drop me a keyword, this, if you feel that. So I've definitely been working a lot more on that, through watching your other students and what you teach. Definitely the title and description was really good to learn from you. So it's like really catchy. I mean, first of all, making sure you have a title and description. Like you say, it's amazing how many people go live without a title or description, or with a title that's like, hi everyone, or just basic, you know, like update. People aren't going to stop the scroll. So I love how you teach, you know, hook them in and put those engaging questions as a description. So I think that's helped as well, because straight away people can see what is the video about.
And can I
Yeah.
pause you here for a sec? Because
Yeah.
this is like so much good stuff. And what I love about the two things Regina mentioned. So she mentioned using really simple engagement questions to start talking directly to her audience while she's doing her lives. So she is doing that. And then the titles and the hooks and like making sure you have a really compelling title so that people stop. And the best part about this is that these are immediate impact things you can do, right? And so like a lot of times when people are like, why aren't my videos getting engagement? They're like, I need to run YouTube ads or Facebook ads or Instagram ads, or I need to build my email list or do blah, blah. Like they come up with all these solutions instead of figuring out, all right, but like, why aren't the people who are showing up already commenting, right? And we have this rule of thumb with your engagement questions is like you want to make your engagement stupid simple. And so like some examples Regina was giving was like, you know, the 1 to 10 scale, where you could be like, how do you feel about this thing on a 1 to 10 scale? So they're just dropping a number. Or you could do a multiple choice question like A, B, C, D. It could be yes or no. It could be dropping a keyword like Regina said. Like all this stuff, adding a title, asking a stupid, simple question is stuff that skyrockets like your engagement immediately. Like you don't need to do any fancy strategy. It's just these simple tweaks that have such a large impact.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that's what you teach about content is a conversation. So, you have to give people an opportunity to take part in the conversation. So you do have to ask them questions, and then you do have to give them time to answer as well. Not just be on your mission, I guess. Because then they're like, oh, she's not talking to me. But if you're like, no, come on, let me know, in a nice way. Other things like the banner. So like when you're booking your live in, and that's another thing I've added to my list of Alex's teachings to implement, which is make your live a Facebook event so everyone in your group gets invited, the day before. And then so now I've got just a template in Canva. Every week I just change and just pop the title in and change the picture, because now I can have a banner so people know exactly what am I going to talk about this week. So all those little things add up. So making it a Facebook event, putting your banner in, giving people a warning and inviting them along. I think that definitely helps as well, get people to come along.
I think we're going to hire Regina as like a teacher for the Skills Lab. Because like literally this is like exactly to the letter where I'm like, create your Facebook event, email your list, send out reminders, get really predictable. So like this is seriously gold. So like I love that you're saying all this, and like clearly it's making an impact, because like even with a small audience, like you have all these people who are participating using like simple strategies. So that's amazing.
Thanks.
Yeah. Okay, let us know if you guys have questions. If we're going to, I have a couple more questions for Regina, but let us know if there's anything else. I see people commenting. Someone saying that's great, adding engaging questions into the script. Yeah, really simple one. See Ray's here saying, I love Regina. So do I. Awesome.
Ray. Love your group and your videos.
I love it. Awesome. So drop questions you have for Regina while we've still got her here. And I know we have people in this group who are in different places, right? Like some people who feel good about video but want to make them better. Some people who are never gotten on camera. Some people who are sort of so about it. So like, what would be your advice to people who aren't necessarily using video, they're nervous about video? Like what would you say to them about, starting to go all in on that? Like what would be your advice for people who are nervous about it?
I don't know how to say this in not a, I don't know.
I'm just going
to say it. It's with love. Not as many people care as you think they do. So yeah, the things that you think, oh, they're going to think this about me, they're going to think that about me, all those worries, the people who matter don't mind. And if someone does mind, they don't matter. And I like I said at the start, like I was conscious that I was vulnerable. I was sharing, I was starting this entrepreneurial journey. Like some people didn't even know I had burnt out in my previous career. Some people didn't even know I was an entrepreneur. And I was like, oh, like I was scared to do it. And literally I got nothing but love. And still to this day, like I haven't had anyone turn around and say, why are you doing this? Like, why are you doing videos? Why are you talking about burnout? Literally. And I've been, talking about this and doing videos since like last October. Mm-hmm. So people don't care as much as you think they do. And I think as well, if you are scared, I think the reason why I like video is because it's a really fast way for people to get to know you, because they see you and they hear you all at once. So it's way easier for you to make a connection, I guess, and stand out in the noisy online space. With written content, I mean, how many written posts are there all over Facebook on your feed, if your post even gets into someone's feed? And I know like a lot of people are talking about now how a lot of people are kind of moving away from that, scrolling their feed, and they're just looking at their stories and their reels, and they're not even going down the feed. So written content has a place and gets you so far. But yeah, people know what you sound like, they know what you look like, they know your mannerisms, and they just connect. And it's just, if someone watches one of your videos, they'll know you and remember you. If someone reads one of your written posts, they'll probably forget who even wrote it. So I think video can be scary, but it's quite liberating when you realize not as many people care that you think. And I think I like that about that. And like when Alex teaches, forget about the vanity metrics, stop looking at how many people are on live, just go live as if they're there, go live remembering they'll be in the replay, like disconnect from the vanity metrics, just do it. Find, kind of piece, I guess, that not as many people care as you think. And it's worth doing the video to have the strongest possible impacts. People get to know you. They feel like they know you.
Yeah. That's so much good stuff. And I love that you said, people don't care as much as you think. Because what's funny is like when you're nervous on camera, like that's the realization that you have to come to. And it's comforting where you're like, no one really cares. Like no one's really watching that closely. And then when you start to get good at video, it's the point of frustration. We're like, why don't people care more? Like, why aren't they watching more? So like the thing that is like the comforting thing where you're like, oh, no one's really paying attention. I just had that moment, eventually becomes frustration. So it's always funny to me how that like ends up evolving for people that do get comfortable on camera. Yeah. Where now you're like, why the heck aren't you paying attention? I did all this stuff. It's so good. Like pay attention, right?
Yeah, 100%. And it's such a human brain thing. And you have to constantly remind your brain, like, remember where we were like a month ago, because you change so fast as well. And you start complaining about it and you're like, okay, just chill. You were very nervous a month ago, but you have to do that month to get there. And that's it. You have to go through it to get to the point where you're like, now I want engagement. You can't skip that part. So there is going to be a part where you're nervous. I don't know, but it's worth doing.
Yeah. It's funny. I'm doing this course right now with Jesse Itzler, his Build Your Life Resume course. It's all about like building amazing life experiences and watching their foundational courses. And one of the things he said in one of his videos was like, if you look around wherever you are right now, and I was actually watching in the gym, I was walking on the Stairmaster, I'm looking around, I'm like, why am I looking at these people? And he's like, in 100 years from now, none of these people are going to be here on earth. All these people are going to be dead. Right. And like when you are also like, I know that sounds like morbid, but like when you're confronted with this like sense of like your own mortality, where you're like, you're making such a big deal out of a video for all these people who like in 100 years, nobody's going to be here, and you have that sense of like time is ticking, time's running out. We got to make the most of it. Like getting on camera is such an inconsequential thing to be scared of.
Yeah. Yeah, I find it really valuable to think about the big picture in that way. Yeah, and I kind of ask myself, I'm like, okay, well, I can not do the video and not share with my audience and not speak about burnout and spread my message. But then how am I spending this one life that I have that doesn't last forever? And why not just try? Like, why not? Like you said, there's more than enough to go around. There's so billions of people in the world, and we're all only here for 100 years max. So why not? Like, go for it.
Yeah. I love it. I love it. So many good comments here.
Yeah.
In here as well. Awesome. And so, like I said, if anyone has questions before we let Regina go, drop them in the chat. And Regina, before we finish up, as you know, and if you don't know and you're listening in, Regina's in the Video Skills Lab. This is where she's getting all of this awesomeness from. And until tomorrow, I'm doing a promo where I'm giving 30 days free, where you can get access to the live coaching that we do, the library of content, the amazing community. You'll get to hang out with Regina in there. So the link's in the description of the video. And Regina, if there are people who are thinking about joining, what would you say to those people who are like on the fence? Should I do it? Like, what would your advice be?
I think if you try and figure things out on your own, it just, not only does it take longer, but it's just hard. And if you know that you've got this amazing resource, like your membership is so affordable, and it literally has everything that you need. And you do live calls two live calls every month as well. So you know that you can always like have a direct line to you if you ever have questions. But yeah, if you're on the fence, I mean, like I said, like Alex said, the reason why I'm confident now and why it takes me, less than an hour a week to organize myself. Like, I don't worry about videos anymore. Like, as a burnout coach, I actually started to burn out last month and I was struggling. But I still, because I've got this down to a fine art, because I have followed the membership, I've learned the learnings, I have attended the calls. Even though I was overwhelmed and struggling, I could still plan and script and deliver my video, because I had got to the point where it's basically like muscle memory. It's just what I do. And that's thanks to the membership and thanks to how Alex teaches. And like, she's really committed to making your videos easy. So if you want your videos to be easy, it's all in the membership. And yeah, why do it alone? Like, get Alex's help. She wants to help.
I love it. I appreciate it. And it's really been such a fun community. I think I launched this end of April of this year. It's only a couple of months old, and it's been such a fun community and great people in it, like Regina. So yeah, like I said, the link, if you want to join and get 30 days free, it's in the description of this video. And I see we have a question. So we'll take this one question, and then I want to be mindful of Regina's time. Mm-hmm. Okay, so someone's saying, I heard you say pick your topic theme for the next 4 weeks, then plan your script. How often do you go live each of those 4 weeks? Do you give your audience an idea of what's to come? Do you record videos? Why don't you take this, Regina?
So yeah, as I said, once a month or once every 5 weeks, because Alex teaches the Power 5 live videos. So it's a 5 weekly rotation. I'll sit down and pick a theme. So if my theme was immunity, then Alex has a great content planning table where each week you write, my live is going to be about taking sick days from work. And then the next week it'll be about how I improve my immunity. So I just pick my topics and put them in the 5 rows of the content planning table, and they're my 5 weeks. So,
right, so it's once a week, right?
Once a week.
Once a week video.
One topic under that umbrella theme per week. How often do I go live? Once a week. Do I give them idea of what's to come. No, I don't feel I need to, because the way Alex teaches it is it's all kind of self-explanatory. So it just rolls through, and I guess people don't need to know because of the way you write your title, your description. They're going to see what I'm talking about, and they're going to be hooked in and attend if it interests them anyway. So every week I just do my banner, post my Facebook event so they know what it's about. Yeah, they don't need any pre-warning, but it's just easier for me because I already know what my topic is. So when it comes to that week, I quickly fill in the script outline and I can go live. So it's all live, not pre-recorded.
Yeah.
So I hope that helps.
You can definitely do pre-recorded stuff. Like we teach live or pre-recorded. The most important thing is to do the stuff Regina talked about, where like every week you're going live on the either same day or time, you're creating events, you're posting reminders, you are creating conversations in the community that you can tag people on. Like all of these things are what gets people to engage on your videos. It live or pre-recorded, whatever you want, as long as you're consistently showing up, which is the most important thing, I would say.
Yeah, exactly. I agree.
Yeah, love it. Okay, cool. Lots of good questions. Awesome. All right. Well, thank you so much for being here, Regina. This was absolutely amazing. Show some love for Regina in the chat. Like she is here it is now like, I think it's almost 6:45 a.m. for her in Australia. So give it up, hands down, for her being here on her Saturday. And how do we connect with you? How can these amazing people connect with you and hang out with you in your Facebook group? Like, why don't you give them your stuff?
Yes, so my Facebook group is where I spend most of my time and engage with people. So it's called the High Achieving Working Professionals, Burnout Proof Your Life. You can find it easily on my profile. So just Regina Bockett on Facebook. I've got links to my Facebook group on my profile. Or you can just add me as a friend and send me a message. And
why
so
don't
Facebook is my main post.
Why don't you, on this video, go find this video in the group and like go and post your link on there so like anybody can find it as well and connect. I would highly recommend like join her Facebook group, check out what she's doing. She has such great videos. Like don't just take my word for it. Like go and watch them, go and hang out with her. She has some great content. Thank you so much for being here. And thanks for all the amazing work that you do. And I'm so excited to see like what the next 12 months has for you. And maybe like we'll do a follow-up in 12 months and see how all the amazing things you've accomplished.
Oh my goodness. Wow. I look forward to that. 13th of August, 2023.
Are you dating the calendar? I will date the calendar.
Talk to Alex. Awesome. Well, thanks for having me.
Yeah, you're so welcome. All right. Well, thank you so much for being here. If you watch this live, drop a hashtag live. If you watch the replay, drop us a hashtag replay. Show some love for Regina. And we will see you all soon. Have a great weekend.